I'm Paul.
Hey, I'm Pej, and this is Techie Dads in virtual reality.
Cool. So you got on an Oculus Rift.
So Paul brought over his Oculus Rift. I'm going to take these off now. We were talking about my first impressions. It's freaking awesome. The demos were very cool.
Yeah.
The Eve Valkyrie was awesome.
Yeah.
Though, we'll talk about some of the things I wish it had. Here's the helmet. Very, very light. I mean, it doesn't even feel like you're wearing it. It's got the sound speakers on either side for sound. Got straps to tighten it, and then you've got the Matrix hook in at the back. We got some pretty good slack, but I mean, you're gonna need space. I found myself when I was wearing it knocking into a bunch of things, wanting to stand up and jump off a building, but
that's a
not
typical
happening.
VR noob experience, though. I think everyone kind of goes through that, and then they realize where you are in the environment, and you make an environment that's good for that, right? Take the breakable things.
But I was super impressed. Like, I mean, I had VR head after, right? Because I had all the imprints.
Yeah.
And the demos Paul showed were absolutely fantastic. So one of them was a dinosaur's walking at you, and you're looking at it, and you're looking behind it, and you're doing all of this, and everything is just, the frames are super fast. The video was super, super cool, and I got spat on. And then there was one that looked like The Division, but it was I don't know what it was, but cars were blowing up, people were shooting at each other, babies were dying. It was awesome.
That's the showdown demo.
It's just wicked. Lots of fun games and videos. We were watching some 360-degree pictures that were very cool.
Yeah.
Looking in outer space, looking in Wimbledon. Watching what was that other one? Oh, the building. The building was super cool. I'm looking around. Paul's like, look down. And you look down. And you're like, oh my god, I'm so high up, and there's cars going down. And of course, my first instinct was, can I jump? Right?
Yeah,
and then I wanted to see my hands and whatnot. And I think the biggest thing for me was I wanted to touch things. Like, it felt like I was there. Like, it just totally encapsulated you. You're looking around. You're like, yeah, this is the Matrix. Right? I'm plugged in. I'm jacked. Let's go. Where are my hands? I want to do stuff. And my hands weren't there. And I think Eve Valkyrie was a very cool game where at least they had you had a body there and you had your hands there, so it looked like you were doing stuff, but you were holding in real life you're holding an Xbox 360 controller, but your arms are doing things, except there's no head and you're the head. So I thought that was pretty cool. Now, for most of them, I thought, if I had something to do or touch, that would have just friggin' awesome.
And that's a common concern, and this is where the Vive folks would come back to say, well, it's the next level of immersion when you, first of all, can do the full room, but even more so is just to have hands and be able to interact in the environment without even the Xbox controller.
Yeah, wanted to do stuff, grab stuff.
And a lot of the demos you did were pre-scripted. All you could do is watch anyway, but you did play a couple of games where you did have control.
The one game I didn't like, what was that called?
Lucky's Tale.
Lucky's Tale, where we were playing it, and then you're jumping around like Mario Brothers. All of a sudden, the camera panned, right, to catch up with Lucky, I guess. Yeah. And it was like, whoa, what just happened here? I didn't move, but this thing moved, and my system, my body had a hard time going, what was going on? I felt a little, that was a little queasy. And I think I spent about 30 minutes. You should charge $10 for 10 minutes.
Well, yeah,
right?
you probably play about 10 of the 30 things that I have on there.
But I think when I first took it off and stood up, it was like, okay, I need a little bit of orientation. Well, nothing major, but I think it's just realizing that my field of vision and my whole senses were encapsulated into this thing, and then when you come back, you're like, oh, okay, I'm back in my room.
I'm just here,
yeah. It was very, very cool, and the sound is very neat. Like,
sound is such a big part of it.
As you turn your head and you hear different things. Yeah. They look kind of like cheap headsets, but they're not. I mean, the sound is very good quality.
Yeah.
And then the orientation of it was very cool. So, they're expensive, but boy, do I want one. I am so getting one of these. I'm gonna need a new video card. I'm gonna need.
Huge barrier to entry, but
think your other in the other video you were talking about, you know, it's still a little early days. There's some things coming in November with the sensors for the Oculus Rift, like the Vive,
and a lot of software and games.
Yeah, the content needs to get there, and I think right now the content's kind of expensive, and it's still early days.
Yep.
I'm hoping I get a chance to preview the HoloLens, which is around augmented reality, and I think that, I mean, if you're playing Pokemon Go right now, you get a sense of the augmented reality. But I mean, I'd love to compare this to the HoloLens and what the difference is, because one is, you know, this is, I'm encapsulated in the world, and then HoloLens, or the augmented reality, is really around, you know, you can see your world, but there's things superimposed on it. So you should talk, you know, if you've played Pokemon Go, you get that idea. We won't comment on it right now because, I mean, this thing just blew me away.
We need it in Canada. Let's get on that. Anyway.
Yeah, I don't know if we need it. Yeah, I don't know if we need it.
Do you need it?
No, I think we need a zombie version of it. That would be very cool.
Yeah.
But this is thank you so much for bringing it over. My wife got to try it out, and we couldn't actually pull her off because she was playing Lucky, whatever. And
she got further than I ever did.
Yeah, she was having more fun with it.
But it is a hard experience to explain. I think that's the main thing. You have
to go try it. This thing is freaking awesome.